There are a great many leadership roles in the world, from teacher to president, but whatever the position, body language plays a significant role in the impact that a leader can have. Let's begin by taking a look at an example. Imagine a teacher who stands in front of a class of screaming first-grade students with her shoulders hunched over and her arms folded across her chest. She asks in a meek tone of voice, "Please be quiet, children." We can imagine very well how this scenario ends. The children continue to scream and play. They see their teacher as someone who lacks a position of authority. The teacher, feeling frustrated, despairs in her inattentive students failing to understand why they are not listening to or obeying her instructions. Now, imagine if the President of the United States were to issue a statement to a group of suspected terrorists with the same posture and the same tone of voice. Do you think that would be a very effective scenario? Again, the answer is no. Moreover, the president would be looked upon with disgrace not only by his own people but by other world leaders. You have just witnessed why body language is such an important part of being an effective leader. Sure, we simplified our scenarios a little for the sake of argument, but it got our point across. In the situations above, body posture, as well as tone of voice, played an important part in conveying subliminal messages to the intended audiences. Body posture, as well as tone of voice, are both considered to be forms of body language. Let's take a look at some of the types of body language that effective leaders have learned to use to their advantage when expressing themselves non-verbally. In this chapter, you will learn about the different types of physical movements, about the other types of body language, about vocal tones, physical movement. There are a number of types of physical movement that are studied by kinesthesiologists, those who study body language. Let's take a look at three of the most important: facial expression, body posture and gestures. Facial expression. Facial expression is one of the most important indicators of emotion for humans. By utilizing facial expressions, an effective leader does not have to express their outright confidence in their ability. Rather, they can show their confidence through expression alone. This reflection of attitude through expression can help a leader to influence the outcome of a situation without risking their position by seeming to be egotistical. What makes this type of non-verbal communication even more idyllic is that facial expression is a form of communication that is universally recognized. There has been a great deal of research on the topic of facial expressions and micro-expressions, particularly by Paul Ekman. Among Ekman's findings has been the universality of recognition of the basic facial expressions including anger, fear, joy, sadness and surprise. With the knowledge that facial expression is a universally recognized form of non-verbal communication, it is not surprising that many of the most effective leaders practice speeches in front of video cameras. In addition, a number of influential leaders also hire coaches to coach them in altering their natural facial expression patterns to appear to be more confident. There is a problem with this practice of faking an expression to give the appearance of feeling a certain way, however. Researchers have found that no matter how much coaching an individual receives or how much faking of facial expressions takes place, the body language of an individual will always give away their true emotion. For an example, an individual who attempts to project an expression of confidence will still have hands that tremble. Setting aside this betrayal by our own bodies, however, let's take a look at a good example of the influence of facial expression in an influential individual. The politician who denies hostile feelings toward their running mate while their face shows an expression of disgust. In this example, the facial expression is giving away the truth about the politician's true feelings about their opponent. Body posture. If body language can give away the emotions that facial expressions are attempting to hide, can body language be manipulated as well? In a way, yes. However, subconsciously the body will always give itself away to the well-trained eye. Body posture is one of the most significant indicators of the subconscious thoughts of an individual. For example, the individual who smiles giving the outward appearance of happiness while standing in a slouched position with their arms hugging their body is giving away their actual feelings of fear, sadness or discomfort from the way that they are standing. Body posture is all about how the body is held. Is an individual standing tall with confidence or do they appear shrunken down and defeated? Is someone hugging themselves for reassurance or are their hands to their sides confidently? Is someone slouching lazily or standing militarily? A good and effective leader will always posture their body to reflect the professionalism of a situation as well as to communicate a position of strength, confidence and openness. Gestures. Gestures are the add-on to body posture and facial expression. They complete the package to present a complete visual experience. When someone is speaking, you not only observe how they stand before you, but you also notice their facial expression and the gestures that they make with their hands while they are speaking. Gestures are very habitual and tend to be very difficult to control, and they frequently give away information that individuals are able to hide through manipulating other forms of body language. While gestures have blatant meanings, they also often carry other meanings behind them as well, such as a willingness to confront someone, a challenge of dominance, or a sign of deceit. Examples of gestures include pointing, sometimes indicating a challenge, using open hand gestures, which indicate openness, folding the arms, indicating a lack of confidence, or utilizing the thumbs in other hand gestures. An example of the importance of gestures is the politician who nods his head yes while vehemently denying an accusation. What does this mean? Well, someone is not exactly truthful. While this individual is saying no, their body language is betraying them with the truth. Other types of body language. In addition to facial expressions, body posture, and gestures, there are a number of other types of body language that kinesthesiologists study when reading individuals. These other types of body language are often more subtle, but they vastly improve the ability to create an accurate profile of someone from their non-verbal cues. Oculesics. Oculesics is the study of non-verbal behavior related to the eyes, for example, how the eyes move, where the gaze goes when an individual is speaking, and eye contact habits. In addition to playing a role in the expression of emotion, the behavior of the eyes tells a lot about how an individual is feeling and what their intentions are. A great example of this is the American president who makes a presidential address without making eye contact. How does this reflect? Does this give the impression of a confident leader? In American culture, it is expected that a confident and dominant leader should make eye contact. It should be noted, however, that this is not the case in all cultures. Oculesics is a field of study that is particularly culturally specific. Haptics. Haptics is the study of touch. It may seem surprising that touch is a part of communication, but in actuality in many cultures touch is a considerable part of communicating with each other. Examples of haptics include brief touching of the arm, indicating reassurance, handshakes, often a sign of confidence and dominance, holding hands, showing affection, patting someone on the back, showing approval, and even giving a high five, a sign of celebration and masculinity. Haptics becomes particularly important in the corporate world. One area of particular interest is that of handshakes. A great example of this is the businessman with a weak handshake. He is unlikely to climb the corporate ladder when pitted against the businessman with a strong and assertive handshake who portrays more confident and appealing qualities. Proxemics. Proxemics is the study of spatial relationships and is important in varying degrees based on different cultures as well as individual as personal preferences. Simply put, this is the basic idea of personal space. According to Edward T. Hall, the founder of the study of proxemics, there are 4 accepted distances in which men operate in our culture: intimate distance, 18 inches or less; personal distance, 1/2 to 10 feet; social distance, 10 feet to 12 feet; and public distance, 12 feet to 20 feet. Looking at the proxemics that an individual uses can tell a lot about their intentions and relationships. Take for example the motivational speaker who is reluctant to approach the personal space of others. How effective can their personal approach truly be if they are unable to step within any more than the public distance of any member of their audience? A good example of the use of proxemics is the motivational speaker who maintains a close social distance between himself and his audience. This allows for him to instill confidence and maintain a personal note while speaking without invading personal space and becoming assuming. Vocal tones. Vocal tones aren't technically a form of body language, but they are a form of communication that tell us more about what a person is trying to say than the words that they are using. Vocal tones in combination with body language can tell a lot about a person's intentions. An example of the use of vocal tones in action is a successful business CEO, who addresses a party of potential investors. The CEO may hold his body in a confident posture, but if his voice is quivering and his tone is soft, he will not come across as being confident. This poor vocal tone will likely result in the potential investors turning the CEO down in favor of another CEO, who appeared more confident.